Rocky and loose, and we had rain, so it's going to be even more loose than usual. Here it is. So this is it. Take our time. Greetings everyone. As you can see by the title, I came out today to talk to you about my Cedaero Trek 1120 front rack pack. As many of you may already know, I just finished doing the BT 700, which is a bikepacking route in southwestern Ontario that is actually closer to 800 kilometers. So after spending 8 days riding that route with a bunch of good buddies, I feel like I've actually tested out the bag enough that I can say a few things about it, tell you the things I like about it, and maybe the things that I would actually change about it. For full disclosure, the Cedaero bags are custom-made bags, and usually what you'd do is you would order and you'd get to pick out certain details that you'd like. My purchase of this bag was a little different. I contacted the guys at Cedaero with a pretty tight timeline, and just by coincidence they had this bag that was previously made for somebody else, so they sold it to me for a bit of a discount, which I really appreciated. But there are a couple things, had I done it from scratch, that I would have did a little differently. So I'll talk about those things, and like I said, I'll tell you what my experience was with the bag over an 8-day trip through some pretty rugged terrain. So definitely put the bag through its paces. We had some rain, we had some dusty conditions, rough, rooty, single track, gravel roads, everything. So yeah, let's go through what my thoughts are on it. And like I said, I will tell you the things I like and dislike, and you can make your opinions from there. All right guys, let's talk about the materials in that real quickly. The outer bag itself is made from 1000D Cordura, very waterproof material, very durable, abrasion resistant, all that stuff. The inner bag itself is made out of a 200D Cordura, so between the two you're going to have a pretty good assurance of waterproofness. One thing that anybody that's done any extensive touring will tell you with bags is that even if they claim to be waterproof, if you're carrying any electronics or anything you're concerned about getting wet, always keep them in a dry bag or a Ziploc bag, freezer bag of some sort, just for extra insurance. Nothing is guaranteed. I've had bags that are very waterproof, but at some point will reach a saturation level. And while the things inside might not get actually wet, they can get damp. So keep that in mind. The bag also uses foam stiffeners in all the panels, just helps keep the shape a bit better, and it works really well. The bag itself is really good bag. It's extremely lightweight. I'm going to take it off in a second and show you some more features, show you the straps a little better, and at that point I can share a couple things that I would also maybe change about the bag if I were to do it myself from the beginning again. So I'm going to share these thoughts with the guys at Cedaero. They seemed pretty receptive to wanting to hear my feedback on the bag, so I'm looking forward to sharing my thoughts with them as well and seeing what input I can get from them on the things that I think could be changed as well. So, and another thing I should mention is the actual volume. So it is actually a pretty big bag. It's 13 liters in volume, and you can definitely put a lot in here. What I've been keeping in here changed a little bit. At first I had my kitchen stuff, but what I found was that I found the load shifted too much. The weight changed as I went through food and stuff like that. So I am going to be switching what I keep in here. I will most likely be keeping my clothes, rain jacket, rain pants, and then my solar panel and a couple other things. And then throughout the day, I will keep my snacks that I want to eat through the day. I find this bag really good for that. So like I said, what you put in here is going to vary from person to person. I did try putting my kitchen stuff. Had talked to someone I know through a couple different Facebook groups, through my YouTube channel, Mark. He had mentioned using it for kitchen stuff. I did try that, but like I said, I just found that for me that didn't work out because the load was changing, and I want what's in here to be stable and not to be moving around. So I want to keep set things in here that are going to stay in place and not bounce up and down when I'm using them. So that's what I'm going to be using it for, like I said, but what you use it for could be vastly different, so keep that in mind. All right guys, so here's the bag off. Like I said, very light, not much to it. I'll put the exact dimensions and weight and all that on the bottom of the screen right now, just so you guys can check all that stuff out. But like I said, it's a very simple bag in its function. Two buckles to close the lid, and that's it. And inside you can see the lid opens completely, and you got quite a bit of volume in there. You might not be able to see, the lighting's not that great here, but yeah, it's a very functional bag in that purpose. After about 800 kilometers, there really seems to be no fail in the stitchings. I've looked at all the buckles where they're sewing on and all that, and they're holding up pretty good. So like I said, you got your two front ones, and then this is how it straps onto the bottom. This goes across the bottom of the rack. And if I can get it undone, you'll see. And then that just goes across the bottom of the rack and down to the front. So I'm sorry, down the front and up to the back, and then attaches. Really good system, appears to work really well. There are a couple things that right now, having talked about that I will say that I think could be different. So one of my thoughts is that I think this front flap should come down a little further. What I've noticed is that the front of the bag will pinch up like that once in a while, and dust has been getting in under there. So not a huge deal breaker, but I think if you brought that front flap down to right about there, it would take care of that problem. And I would even maybe consider adding a third buckle, but I'm not sure. The guys might share some thoughts on that. And then another thing you might notice on the back here, you can see some glue residue. Well, that's actually from Gorilla Glue. I glued a Velcro strap on here to try and give me a little more support. As you'll see, when the bag's attached, it wants to just move a little bit like that. So my thoughts are, if you put a buckle that went this way and utilize the back rack supports, that I think that would really help this bag out in being way more secure. And while there was no issues with the bag kind of moving a little bit like that, over time I am 100% confident that that would affect the quality of these stitches. So it's just something that I'm going to talk to the guys about. I'd even consider getting another bag made with these features that I'm talking about. Another thing that I could say is that the bottom of the bag could use some stiffening products in it. The rest of the bag is fine. The sidewall is the top bag, but the bottom needs to be stiffer. As you can see, when there's weight in it, it wants to sink down into the rack. And I really feel like that could be an issue in the long run. So if the bottom could be definitely stiffer, would definitely be a bonus. But other than that, I really enjoy the functionality of this bag, and I'm definitely going to use it on the Great Divide mountain bike route. Don't see myself having time to get a new one made with the things changed that I talked about. So yeah, I'm really happy with this bag, and I definitely highly recommend it. Anybody looking to get a bag for the 1120 front rack, this bag works great. Okay guys, so I shared with you some of my concerns, but to be honest with you, my overall thoughts on the bag are very favorable. I would definitely recommend it to anybody that has a Trek 1120 front rack, but I would definitely recommend seeing if you can utilize some of the suggestions I made as far as improvements that I would make to the bag. Another thing I left out is these front daisy chains. I would run them the opposite way. I think it makes it better for strapping things to the bag as far as being able to lash it down. It actually makes more sense in my opinion. That is another change I would recommend making. That way I could carry like a tripod across there, anything like that across there that's folded up and, you know, easy to access, lash it down type thing. But again, overall thoughts on the bag are very favorable. It was really tested pretty hard on the BT700. If you watch those videos, the first video is out right now. I'll link it up here. You can check it out. But yeah, I really think that I kind of tested it pretty thoroughly on that particular ride, and I can highly recommend this bag to anybody with an 1120 front rack. Dennis, who did the BT700 ride with me, he has received one. He hasn't been able to use it on a trip yet, but I'll definitely be sharing his thoughts on the bag. Unfortunately, he ordered it. He did not get to utilize the things I said, but I think he'll be very happy with the bag regardless of that. So anyways, guys, I definitely recommend checking out Cedaero. If you're in Canada, they are an American company. I understand that the import fees right now are pretty high, but you know what? The quality is great, so I definitely recommend them to anybody looking for a good bag. So if you're looking for a custom-made bag that works with the 1120 front rack, go over to the Cedaero website, talk to the guys. I'm sure you can work out something to get a bag made for you, and I think you'll love it just as much as I do. Definitely going to be seeing it on the Great Divide mountain bike route, so it'll be put through its paces even more then, and I'm sure it's going to come out just fine on the other end of that as well. Okay guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up. Like I said, if you have an 1120 with the 1120 front rack, this is definitely a bag I would recommend checking out. They make a bunch of other bags that are 1120 specific as well. Check those out. And if you're over at Cedaero, let them know that Dean from Wandering Eye Outdoors sent you. I'm not affiliated with them as of now, but definitely wouldn't mind letting them know that I'm promoting their product because I think it's a great product. So anyways, guys, I'm going to put out a video with a little update about the Great Divide mountain bike route, what's happening with that. I did have a little bit of a another scare with my stomach again at the very end after finishing the BT 700, just before I got to Bob's house. I've really come to the conclusion that my issues are all diet related, and I'm really going to start going forward on working on my diet, eating food that's closer to the source, less processed foods, stuff like that. So stay tuned. I will let you guys know how that helps me out, not just with my gut health, my mental health as well. So anyways, guys, stay tuned for that video. Like I said, I'm going to do a GDMBR update video and all that stuff. Because of those health scares, I was thinking of canceling the Great Divide mountain bike route. But Raul, if you're watching, Raul is one of the channel members, someone that's been watching the channel for a while, and has bought a lot of Rogue Panda stuff to help me out, but also reached out to me recently, saw that I was concerned about my finances for food on the Great Divide mountain bike route, and Raul has made a very substantial contribution to the Wandering Eye Outdoors channel and to the Great Divide mountain bike route itself. So Raul, if you're watching, I'm not going to share the exact details of how much he helped me out with. I think that can stay between the two of us. But Raul, if you're watching, thanks a lot, brother. I really appreciate it. I mentioned in the emails that words are just not enough to express my gratitude, and that certainly is true. It's amazing that what people will do for people they don't even really know that well, and it just proves that there are so many good people out there in the world. So Raul, from the bottom of my heart, brother, thank you very much, and I'm going to put this money to good use, and we're going to get this Great Divide mountain bike route done, and it's going to be just another bucket list thing that I can check off. And Raul, thank you very much. I appreciate it. You're a great person. All right, guys, other than that, I just want to say thanks for watching the video. Thanks for supporting me all the time, and I'm going to wrap it up from here. I hope you guys are getting out there and doing something you love, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.